Hello, everybody. My name's Steve Mellings from ADISA, and this is the latest in our series of podcasts. I'm joined today by Paul Finnis, who's the Chief Executive of the Learning Foundation, and a gentleman I've met most recently. I've been working very closely with over about the last 6 weeks. So, hi, Paul.
Hey, Steve. Hi, nice to talk to you again.
And good to see you today. So, Paul, for those who may not be familiar with the Learning Foundation, can you give us 2 minutes on a little bit of the background to it?
Yeah, no problems. I sometimes struggle to limit myself to 2 minutes, but I joined the Learning Foundation about 5 or 6 years ago. It's a fantastic organisation, but of course I'm bound to say that now. But we've been around about 20 years. We work essentially with schools to help them to embed technology into their systems of learning. Basically, we recognise how important access to technology is for young people as they grow up. Not just in learning, but of course as they get ready for life and things as well. So we've been doing that for 20 years now, and it's a delight to be part of it.
Jolly good. And I was introduced to you back probably in July, and I stress this is being recorded in 2020, so we're in mid-COVID world, because you also represent a program called Digital Access for All. Just explain a little bit about this part of what the Learning Foundation does, please.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Yes, essentially the Learning Foundation has been working with schools, hundreds of or thousands of schools and thousands of families over the years. But one of the things, the schools have really struggled to adopt technology in anything like a kind of substantial way. Partly because they've got so many other things in their heads. They got Ofsted meetings, and they've got lack of cash and all the other reasons you'll know that schools are struggling at the moment. And one of the things we found when we were working with them, though, is that we work on what's called a one-to-one basis, where every child has the same device to use in class across the year group, and then to take home with them. Is that what we found is that very large percentages of these youngsters were taking a device home for the first time ever. There was going to be a device in the house, and that impact on not just on the child but on the family was way more than just the impact on their education. But because schools weren't picking it up, we did some research and discovered that something like, and in fact it's just been confirmed by Ofcom, something like 1.5 million children are living in households where there is no access, or very, very limited access, maybe just mum's mobile phone, to devices. So we launched something called Digital Access for All in February 2019. And we launched up with lots of great players, people like Intel and Microsoft, but also some superb third sector organizations like Good Things Foundation and Carnegie and Nominet, I have to say, have been particularly fantastic in all of this. And that was designed to ensure that whatever schools were doing, we were making sure that kids and families at home were getting access to the devices and connectivity that they needed.
And right now, of course, and leading on to the punch a little bit here, COVID and homeschooling, which as a parent, I think all my son learned was some new swear words, if I'm honest. But the need for access to learning tools at home has become more pressured in the last 6 months than the time before. Have you seen a particular increase in demand from schools for help to give these assets or this technology to kids to help their learning experience at home?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. Of course, this is tinged with sadness, but also great opportunity here too, and that is that people understood, not just people, but government, families, schools understood for the first time, really kind of clearly, how important it is for young people to be able to access education wherever they are at home, and how many young people were struggling to do exactly that. As I say, the Ofcom figures would say 1.8 million. Actually, I'm just rereading my notice there. 1.8 million kids, and so suddenly everybody got it really clearly how important access at home was.
And just to stress, this is UK. So for those listening, this is a 1.8 million children in the UK have limited access to technology at home.
Yeah,
that's right. What's the longer term implication of that, do you feel? Let's ignore COVID for now, but what's the longer term implication of that? Do you feel that these kids will be continually at a disadvantage because of their lack of ability to learn at home?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, when people ask me that, sometimes I ask them to imagine their life without access technology and things. And I'm not just talking about mobile phones. I'm talking about all the way that you use devices now and things. And of course, a long time ago, a mobile phone was pretty much enough. You had some little things you could watch and videos and other bits and pieces. But now it's so much part of the way that we, do our schoolwork, our work, and stay connected and everything else. It's just part of everything, Steve. It's not just school. It's life and mates and everything.
And I think that's important to draw out, because for dinosaurs like me who grew up where it was blackboard and the blackboard rubber being thrown at you, perhaps we may be slightly dismissive about the necessity for technology and for an online persona, if you like, and it is a critical part, just to reconfirm what you've said, of a child's development throughout their schooling experience, not just sort of in their teens when they're building their social media presence, but throughout their educational experience. And do you feel that without access to technology that you're going to find kids who will potentially turn their back on their learning experience because it's either too difficult or they're unable to keep up? Could it be a negative in that effect as well?
Absolutely, that's really good. Yeah, and we all learn in sort of slightly different ways. There's kind of mixed feelings about this, but absolutely, I've seen young people change in less than a year. For instance, some of the schools we work with, we've seen kids go from not being at all interested in reading or contributing or writing, whatever, being given something as simple as perhaps as a Chromebook or a simple device of some kind, and suddenly changing the way that they engage with learning, the way they engage with reading and everything else. It's true. And we do now talk about exactly, not just about education, but about preparedness for life. This is almost every job, certainly by the time the youngsters leave school and stuff, is going to need them to have some kind of technology skills. And as you say, if they don't have it to offer, they're going to find themselves limited in terms of what they can do in the future, which is a huge shame.
And this is really why we're communicating. People are probably wondering why ADISA and Learning Foundation are on a podcast today, because clearly we've been working together over the last few weeks. We were introduced by a couple of ADISA members actually who are part of the DAFA scheme. Would you like to give the background to what we're trying to achieve as a partnership, if you like?
Well, I was so pleased that you and I were connected, Steve. I really, because this has been a bit of a dream for us. Not particularly borne out since COVID came out, because as you know, what happened is that suddenly there was this massive demand for devices, not from people who were hitherto unconnected, but from corporates and everything else. And that meant that it was almost impossible to get hold of new devices. So it made me think about, so where can we go? And as you know, there are some millions of devices in people's homes and in offices and storage rooms. We've all got them, saying that. And was there a way to bring those out and make those available to families in a way that enabled them to engage? So it was fantastic that when we had that first conversation and things, and I've just been really impressed and happy about how quickly you've been able to take this on. But you say something from your perspective too.
Well, I think so. ADISA, for those who don't know who we are, we run a certification schemes for companies who recover redundant equipment from businesses and prepare them for their next reuse to resell or recycle the materials. So it's a security scheme. So we look at how they're managing the data. But as a result, we represent over 40 of the largest ITADs, IT asset disposal companies within the UK. So these guys handle a huge amount of equipment coming out of businesses. And hence why the Digital Access for All program kind of looked at this sector to say, hey, we might be able to be part of the solution. Now, Paul, as you quite rightly say, these last 6 months has seen a huge increase in demand for user technology because of home working, for not only just children but actually all of our employees are encouraged to work from home. And so the market has changed significantly, which we hope will return to some normality over the coming months. So whilst right now laptops are not quite flying out the door, but they're very, very popular still, we are beginning to see businesses continue their refresh cycle. So we're beginning to get decent technology coming out. And what we're doing with Digital Access for All and in alliance with a group of our members is that we've created a donation route. And the idea is that businesses initially, we'll talk about individuals later, who are retiring IT assets will be able to donate those into the DAFA program. The ADISA network of companies will be able to process them under GDPR. There'll be a data processor and put all the right controls in place. And they will be able to sanitize the media to appropriate levels so that the data protection risk has been managed, and then resell this asset. So it doesn't need to be, I donate a laptop to give to a child. It just needs to be technology. So we're making sure that it's as broad a donation scope as it can be. And the idea is that technology is then either resold to generate funds, which goes to Digital Access for All, or it's recycled because it may have reached its useful lifespan. And the idea is that this donation route generates funds to give to the Digital Access for All program, to then go into a procurement cycle and start to work with schools, work with those who need to buy the right type of technology through the reuse channel, which is the ADISA marketplace, so that we're putting some controls about quality and other tests in place, and to make sure that the next user experience is really, really strong. So this was stuff that we were already doing. Clearly, the ADISA members were already recovering assets from businesses, already reselling equipment, already recycling. We already have our marketplace selling equipment to the next generation of users. And all that we've done since our introduction is look at it slightly differently, and from a philanthropic way, put my teeth in today, philanthropic way, to see if we can encourage companies right now who, with COVID really in their primary sight, and so asset retirement may not be the immediate pressure that they're under, but to consider whether they may have some infrastructure that they can begin to donate, because any infrastructure is going to make a difference as far as we're concerned. And I've learned a lot from you, Paul, over the last 6-7 weeks about the genuine need. And I recommend anybody should Google Digital Access for All, go on the website. There is a huge amount of quite shocking statistics about how what we feel is an even society is not, and certainly where children are concerned, it isn't. And I think that where we're looking at retired infrastructure, we can really try and do something with this and make a difference. And so the DAFA stroke ADISA program, I'm not sure that we've named it anything as yet, but certainly Digital Access for All is the brand. And this is what we're going to be trying to do over the coming months and hopefully years, is to help businesses have a home for their retired equipment. That home is safe and secure and meets regulatory requirements, and it's professional. And those companies operating in this will be able to generate revenue to help you, Paul, as a charity, do what you want to do.
Yeah, great. And I think one of the great things you've done here is to bring that all together into a single point. So instead of companies having to go out and find people that can help to do this and stuff, what they can do is put it through a single point through your website, the adisa.global website, and then you will allocate that connection within your network. And the same with schools. So schools are going to be able to register their interest. We've particularly gone with schools, Steve, I think, because we recognize that a primary opportunity here for young people is around learning. And if schools have been to the process of understanding which of their kids are not connected, you and I can rest assured that these are going to go to good homes. And as I say, the fact that they can do all of that through a single contact website is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, for the purpose of anybody listening today, really we're trying to introduce the need, first of all, because I was quite shocked when I saw the stats. And of course, a stat's great, but when you look at the source of these stats, it's genuine. And clearly when we have homeworking on our recent memory path for most of us, we realize that if I've got multiple children in a house and only one device, that's limiting in itself. If I haven't got any devices, it's completely debilitating. Yes. And as a parent, we need to do something about that. Now, I'm lucky to represent a bunch of really motivated professional businesses who are very good at this. And so the delivery mechanism is already there. So whilst the comments you make, Paul, are very gratefully received, the industry is ready. They can help deliver this solution to a problem that you see day to day. So I guess, my call to arms, before I ask you for a closing comment, Paul, is my call to arms is if you're a business and you're watching this and you have redundant equipment and you want to help this, massive problem very close to home in any little way, go to adisa.global/marketplace. There's a lot more information than we've covered today on this program, all the governance surrounding it as well, and look to consider donating your infrastructure into the safe hands of a recognized certified professional company, and to help Paul and Digital Access for All be the conduit to improving the lives of these kids who don't have access to technology at home, which is, for me, $1 million is just ridiculous. 1.8, did you just say? That's horrendous. That's massive division in society that we need to do something about.
Yeah.
So just to wrap up, Paul, we said we'd be 15 minutes, which we've done all right. We normally chat for England. Just give us your parting comment about what you would like to, in 12 months' time when we reflect, what would you have liked to have achieved by this initiative?
Yeah, that's a good question, Steve. The size of the problem means that this is not going to go away anytime soon. We think realistically, because of government will need to be involved and others will need to be involved, it's likely to be 3 to 5 years. But it would be fantastic. I have to say, Steve, even though the numbers are big, if you think about one more device going out into one more family, that's one more child and one more family connected and things, and that's got to be a good thing. As many of those as we can do over the next 12 months, and I look forward maybe in having another conversation like this in 12 months' time to see where we get to. But I know you've got huge ambitions for it, and I think that the organisation and the companies you've got in partnership are going to deliver, and I really look forward to working with you on that. Fantastic,
Paul. And I should stress as well is that we are looking for individuals at home. We all have technology in our drawers. Some of it will be broken, and perhaps not valuable to this process, but others won't be. So we're trying to create a route for individuals to access this as well, whether that is a straight charity donation to DAFA to generate money, or if they want to donate their technology, we're creating a route for that. So again, go to adisa.global/marketplace, and there'll be some more details about how you, as somebody at home, may have the ability to be able to help this program as well. So Paul, I'm going to say thank you very much. So I know we're speaking daily at the moment, almost, as we're piecing this together. So I'll be chatting to you later. But thank you for your time today. And for those listening, it's Digital Access for All. Have a look. You'll see this is very much a worthwhile cause. Thank you.
Thank you.